about the Balwin Plentify partnership, I'd say it is definitely a special one.
Challenges that the South African grid or community face around energy. There's a much bigger problem around the distribution of that power.
Balwin's one of our largest partners.
Well, hello everybody, and it's a really great pleasure for me to be chatting today to two really interesting companies. And the first is Matthew Whalley, and he is the Managing Director of Balwin Energy. And the second is Kailas Nair, who's the Chief Growth Officer of Plentify. To start things off, I just want to ask both of you, in fact, to just say just a few words on, what is South Africa's energy challenge?
So, there are a couple of challenges that the South African grid or community face around energy. I think everyone has focused on the generation problem with load shedding, and we're now starting to find that actually that problem was solved, in quotes, fairly easily. There's a much bigger problem around the distribution of that power being available where it's needed, and the management of how and when that energy is used.
Simply put, South Africans are living through a perfect storm. You're facing the twin threats of outages that still persist and rising electricity tariffs, which have compounded at 15% a year for the past 15 years. It's burning a hole in people's pockets, and there seems to be no end in sight. So I think the challenge that faces everybody, including businesses like Balwin, is how do you ensure that people get access to cheaper, cleaner, and more reliable energy? And I think we have to acknowledge that much work has been done in the public sector to try and solve this problem, but there's more work to be done. And that's really what Balwin and Plentify have set out to do across the developments that Balwin has built.
We need to stabilize the demand on these massive estates to allow for an 8-hour outage where you get massive load spikes. So there were quite a lot of other considerations beyond just the cost savings that we're talking about now. As you rightly said, the geyser is the biggest load on these developments. It's easily 40% of all electricity consumption. It's something that while on an individual home, the heating and when it switches on is fairly random. When you start having lots of them together, you start getting a pretty standard load profile, and that load profile does not match with solar, and that load profile does not match with time of use tariffs. It means that on these large-scale developments, even more so than an individual home, managing when that heating happens is a lot more important, because we're now dealing with a large portion of the load that can be shifted around. And actually, while controlling one device, you maybe don't have that much control. When you're controlling 1,000 devices, you actually got very granular control to move loads around. Building a sustainable development, not just for our clients, but for the environment as well. And that has led to Balwin becoming a world leader in terms of green building certification and green building development, especially in the residential sector.
Well, then let's talk a little bit about your companies, because both of your companies are really innovative and leaders in their field. And I think everybody knows Balwin. We know that they are a big developer of residential estates. But I'm not sure that people know a lot about the details. I mean, the fact is, I hear that you are the biggest developer of residential estates in the country. Perhaps you can tell us about what kind of residences you build, what kind of income brackets you're targeting.
We develop sectional title community living schemes. We will look at long-term things to implement on our estates that will allow clients to get a long-term benefit. They'll have a lower cost of living. They'll have lower bond costs, things like that. Building a sustainable development, not just for our clients, but for the environment as well. And that has led to Balwin becoming a world leader in terms of green building certification and green building development, especially in the residential sector. If we then look at Balwin Energy specifically, we were brought in to essentially manage that side of things. So started off with, we want to get these green building certifications. We want it to be something that's real and is a benefit. The actual implementation of the technologies to allow that was handled by Balwin Energy, which started off with embedded generation, renewable energy, solar. basically rooftop solar, except it is on our carports. And then from there, to grow that out, make that work better, to provide further benefit and stability to our clients, we then moved on to things like load management, which was one of the main reasons we started partnering with Plentify.
So, Kailas, maybe you can now tell us first of all a bit about Plentify.
Thanks, Chris. So I think you've touched on it. Plentify is an energy technology company that's been operating in South Africa since 2017. So we're heading into our 8th or 9th year at the moment. We are specialists in home energy management. Essentially, what we're trying to do is shift the energy consumption of everyday household appliances to cheaper, cleaner times, or to when solar is producing. It has 3 parts. There's hardware, we call them bots. The data that we collect from these bots then go into our intelligence engine. And that's really where the secret sauce lies. Control decisions that we make that operate these appliances for the benefits of the user as well as the benefits of the utility. And then lastly, there's software, apps that are made available to the user, our customers, and the installer so they can interface with the system. We work directly with end users. We work with large property companies like Balwin, with solar companies, and also utilities and municipalities. In a nutshell, what this technology is trying to do is sort of enable the energy transition to a cheaper, cleaner, and more reliable energy system. You asked about the Balwin Plentify partnership. I'd say it is definitely a special one. Matthew was on a quest at Balwin Energy to figure out how to roll out sustainable energy solutions across the Balwin portfolio. And what was, I think, unique about his approach is that he immediately understood the value of having energy management as a core part of that solution. And that's really where Plentify came in. We set out to launch a pilot initially. We picked one of the Balwin estates in Gauteng. And I think unlike most pilots, we're very thoughtful about the success criteria that we needed to hit as part of the pilot. And these were across both technical areas, the installation process, as well as commercial viability. And then we ran the pilot for a number of months. We smashed all of those success criteria. And on the back of that, Balwin made the decision to roll out the Plentify technology across all of their future developments and also retrofit it across the majority of the existing portfolio. Balwin's one of our largest partners, and I think just given the nature of the work that they do, they are, as you touched on earlier and Matthew touched on, they are the largest residential property developer. We found them to be quite progressive in the way they thought about their role within these property developments, even post the sale, and very progressive and innovative in the way they thought about the provision of energy across these estates. Made them quite a unique and valuable partner for us.
I think what we've built is the largest and most successful residential load management program in South Africa in partnership with Balwin. We've now rolled out the technology across 13 estates. We're close to having 8,000 geysers under management.
One of the things that we managed to get our projects onto as a direct result of our partnership with Plentify, along with other measures that we're doing, is that towards the end of when we had load shedding, we got estates moved off load shedding onto load curtailment, which is a not insignificant benefit to both the body corporate and to the individual homeowners. I've got happier clients as well, and then clients are not having to worry about power outages.
This program has been running for over 2 years, so we've got incredible data, really detailed data covering temperature, hot water flow, energy consumption. We've lived through some pretty unique periods as well: load shedding, COVID, remote working. We've had to adapt our control philosophy to all of these different scenarios. And I think the results exceed our expectations. So firstly, if you take the estates themselves, the body corporates, they're paying less for electricity. We're seeing a 46% reduction in time of use energy usage, 36% reduction in maximum monthly demand, and a 79% increase in energy used from solar. So the combination of this means that they're paying less to the municipality and they're getting a higher ROI on their solar systems.
But if we then go onto the actual financial benefit side of it, so as you quite rightly said, you have your individual homeowner. They do get a benefit due to the geyser being operated more efficiently. It's not being kept at a high temperature when no one's using it, so your electricity usage is reduced, and as a result, there's a direct saving on your monthly spend as a result of us managing the geysers. What the implementation of this load management does is allows us to manage particularly the high season, so the winter electricity bills, and it allows us as Balwin Energy, who owns the solar and provides energy to the estate on a PPA, to provide a larger discount to the estate and to have a model that works from a financial point of view for deploying that capital and for passing that benefit on to clients. Being looked at as part of this wider ecosystem of ensuring we have clean energy going to our sites, that we can reach our net zero targets as a company, and to continue to offer that, what we'll say is our competitive advantage, a lower cost of living for our clients. So we regularly look at new technology. Kailas and I often have conversations about what other things can we get this system to do to provide additional benefits.
Thank you so much for talking to me and educating me on what you guys are doing for everybody's benefit, the country, the utilities, the customer, the homeowner, the body corporate, and of course yourselves. So thank you, and with that I think we'll call an end to this discussion.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.